Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Layla Haishaw. I am so excited to premiere my IGTV series in its first episode of Founder Fridays with yours truly, Dr. Layla Haishaw. I am a mother of three, a pediatric dentist practicing in Tucson, Arizona, and I am the founder of a nonprofit that I'm so passionate about called Diversity in Dentistry Mentorships. And the idea for this series came from me in my journey in creating the nonprofit. And I'm always looking for those that inspire me and guide me along, that I wanted to give back and share the stories of those who are making a great impact in our world and our communities and touching lives, to share their stories of innovation, creativity, passion, compassion, what they're doing to make an impact in the world and leave a legacy. So I was so just crystal clear on who I wanted to be my first guest. She's a colleague and friend, Dr. Sharel Sly, who is the founder of Sistahs In Dentistry and the Association of Black Women Dentists. And I am going to add her in. Oh, not wave at you. I want to join you, Dr. Sly. Yes.
Think it worked, finally.
Hi. I did it. There'll be one little
I don't know what's going
but
on.
that won't stop us.
No, nothing's gonna stop us.
Yeah. And I was just saying that if anyone had questions or anything, they can put it in the comments. But, well, you look just beautiful.
Thank you. You too. As
Thank
always.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for
I'm
joining
so happy
me.
to be here with you.
I'm so excited. And
I
you
am
just keep
proud.
me calm.
Yes.
Well, like I said in the intro earlier, that really when I was putting this together,
Uh-huh.
there are organizations that we belong to, right? And especially in colleagues in dentistry.
Yeah.
But with you and founding Sisters in Dentistry, this is the one group that I feel like I need not only in my professional life, but in my personal life, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a sisterhood of women who have shared experiences and,
Yes.
something that no one else can really quite understand, because many times you've mentioned it. It's like a double minority. But before we jump
Yes.
into being a Black female dentist, but I will let you touch base on that. But just for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure to get to know Dr. Sly, she is a general family practitioner dentist in
Mm-hmm.
Houston, Texas, and
Yes.
Herman Parks, right?
Park
Is your
Smiles.
practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Herman Park Smiles.
Uh-huh.
And you're from Louisiana, graduated from University of Tennessee. And you, of course, the reason you're here is because you have the vision and the persistence, I should say, to push forward and to start your organization of Sisters in Dentistry. I say our just because we
It
all
is
feel like we're a
ours.
part of it. But
It's
yeah.
ours.
Yeah. And of course, the parent organization is Associates of Black Women Dentists. But I'd be remiss to if I don't say that it is the largest Black female dental organization online on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. It's the
And
first, it's the
how many?
only.
Mhm. Yes,
Um,
it's the only one of his sort, right?
mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of dental groups, some for entrepreneurship, some for just clinical skills. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like we said, this kind of encompasses the life of a Black female dentist and what we go through and share our stories and not.
Right.
So also, I just wanted to just add in, if anyone has questions, again, to just let us know. But I was just going to jump right in because I want to respect everyone's time, and I know we're all busy, so
We're
we're
on the
going to
bubble.
try to keep this at 30 minutes.
Okay.
But first, whenever I watch an interview, I just love to know the person, and I like to get down into like what is it that empowers them to motivate them to do certain things. So I kind of wanted to know a little bit about your in your early life. What did you always know you wanted to be a dentist, or was there something else you wanted to be as you were
Oh
growing
no,
up?
no. That's funny, Shax. As a child, I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. from day one. I don't know why, but I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. I was always about my books. My mom never had to be on me about my homework. They would say, Sharel, will go home from school. I'm inside doing my homework. My siblings, my cousins, they're outside. I did my homework first. But so from a young age, I was very disciplined when it came to academics. My mom tells me she should have known that I was going to be a dentist way back when, because I was that kid that, like, if we were go out and I'm like, Mom, did you see that man's teeth? Like, I would embarrass her because I didn't really quite whisper. And she's like, I should have known you was going to be a dentist because you always pointed out people's teeth. And, throughout, teenage years into adulthood, I mean, I still do it. Teeth are the first thing that I notice in people. And us as dentists, we all say the same thing. We hone in on teeth. So, as a young child, it was picked for me. I didn't even know it at the time. And it wasn't until I got to LSU, it was maybe my junior year, going into my junior year, that I picked a major, or declared a major. I knew I wanted to be a doctor, just didn't know what type of doctor at that time. And so I took all the, the standard basic sciences. So it was like pre-med, pre-dent, doing the same thing, but LSU didn't have a pre-dent program. They didn't.
Okay, yeah.
So sorry, I need to turn off my phone. That's my mom calling. And they didn't have any of that. All right. They didn't
I'm sure
have
my mom's
that. I told her I was doing it, so I need to put it on Do Not Disturb. So they didn't have that program there. So a lot of it I was figuring out on my own. And it wasn't until my cousin, who was in New Orleans still, she was working for a dentist, and she said, you need to come shadow Dr. Lawton. He's been telling me, it's okay for you to come check out what he does. Okay, cool. I went and I was sold, because that I walked in there, he put on his white coat, he put it over my shoulders. Mind you, this man is, he's 6'3", 4" tall, but it draped me. And I walked around the office from op to op with him and watched him, interact with his patients. And from that point on, like I said, I was sold. I always knew I did not want to be on call. I know people that are MDs. Yeah, they're MDs, and they have to, like, OBs. I know OB that she and her husband travel in separate vehicles because she gets paid. She gets paid, she got to go. So they can't travel together. So I didn't want that life. So dentistry it was.
Yeah. I know. That's why I tell the kids all the time. It's like, if you want to be a doctor, be a dentist, because we have a way better
control your schedule. Yes,
much better.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so that's great. So I will share with you that I found out about Sisters in Dentistry and Facebook, and I feel like, I wasn't all into. I didn't realize there were even groups in Facebook back in 2018. And then one of my classmates from UMKC School of Dentistry, Kim Shields, Dr. Shields, she sent me a request to join. And I was like, oh, how cool. And then immediately I was like, oh, there's so-and-so and there's so-and-so. It's like you had collectively got all of us together in a group, and it was just like a family reunion. And so from then it's just, sometimes my husband was like, get off the Facebook now.
Yes, it's addicting. I know a lot of people, like, my husband's been fussing. I need to stay off the sisters. Like, I'm constantly looking and checking. And so they have to kind of put themselves in timeout just so they can spend time with the hubbies and the kids.
There you go.
It is addicting. And connecting. I mean, you connecting with so many people you hadn't seen in years. And the thing about the group and the reason for the group was that we knew we existed. We just didn't know where we were. It was a handful of us in our classes, and you graduate and everyone go to their respective states and cities and practices, and you just never really connected with some of them. And this was a way to centralize us. And so, like you said, it was a big old reunion. And some of those first meetups, when I did, I called it my national tour. We started doing those meetups that when we first kicked off, and to see these women, like older docs, oh my God, I did not know there was that many of us, like in Dallas specifically. I didn't know there was this many of y'all, and this is great. I haven't seen you in this amount of years. I mean, that's all it was. And so it was a very good feeling to know that I was able to bring them together for that reason, if nothing else.
Oh, and we thank you for that, Dr. Sly.
It's been my pleasure.
And it's not just for dentists, it's pre-dental students as well.
Yeah, as dentists and dental students, I felt it was important for the dental students to have our support and our guidance into this profession. For many of us, we were first generation dentists. We had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea what we were going to do when we got out. Many of our colleagues and classmates, they went straight to either their mom, dad, uncle, grandfather, somebody's practice, right. And they had already learned the ropes. So when we got to dental school, their hand skills were already there. You could tell those who had a dad that was a dentist. And so for me, I know going through that process, I know that the students need that support. Like we had no idea what to do when it came to GPRs or any residencies. We had an advisor, one advisor, Dr. Wasan, who I still talk to and love dearly. She's at University of Tennessee still. We had her, but she only could do so much. It was so many of us.
Right.
And so for me, I really felt like it was important for us to guide those students into the profession. And it's been great, with the mentorship program, we paired doctors with students and to see the progression in the help that they're getting. It's amazing.
It's amazing. You know how I feel about mentoring. It's just the greatest gift. And it's really just to have that champion for someone who is just rooting them on, who looks like them. Yeah. That they can believe.
That's important.
Say, I can do it because they did it and all that. So I noticed too in the group, there'll be just find a recommendation in anyone that is in, like say in Houston, for a student to shadow. Because even for first generation pre-dental students who may not have the resource or the connections to just call up and say, hey, my daughter wants to go to dental school, can she shadow? When it's so important part of the application process.
I literally connected with a mentee through you.
Oh,
yeah. And that was her thing. It was her holdup in that she couldn't find anybody to shadow. She's taken a DAT, she's done it, but she doesn't have any shadowing experience, and so she doesn't have anybody to write a letter of recommendation for her. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get that. We're gonna take care of that.
So sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, my mentee just recently was saying that because she's a post-baccalaureate student, in this I should just say, like in the course, she didn't really know the teacher. And so they just flat out said, I don't know you well enough to write a recommendation. And but she's
but
like,
do they know the others?
Right. Yeah. And, and so she's waiting a whole nother cycle. And she's like, it was a lab and I was doing all this. And just my heart goes out. So this is why we wanted to tell her early.
And this is why representation is key for our kids. They have to see us, and one, so that they know they can be us, but we have to be there to help them because with other races, it's easier for them. Not to sugarcoat, it's easier for them. And so our kids need that support. And what is it to write a recommendation for a child? Who denies a child the opportunity to move forward into a professional school? It's a letter, spend a little time with them, get to know them. It doesn't take much. Send a letter. But
I know, Seth, but time will be right and she will be in. I wanted to bring up about, and I am so jealous that I have truly missed out on the Sister to Sister Conference. Dr. Glassman.
Yes.
I hate when I miss out on great stuff. But it was just in the midst of this whole COVID. But you have to tell our audience about that. And I invite you guys to go on to the Associate Black Women Dentists. It's also on Sistahs In Dentistry's page too. The video that's on your IGTV, or is it just on?
Let me think. The video is on Dr. Glassman's Facebook page, and it's on, I think it's on SID's IG page. It's on the IG page here.
You guys, it was, it's just short of magical to see. You tell me, because you.
It was like we had no words to. So first and foremost, it's never been a conference where it's all Black women. Far too often, we are going to these conferences, or even in class, we're speckled throughout the audiences, right? Sometimes we're the only person, or if you see the other Black person, you do the head nod, you're like, oh, another Black person. But for this conference, it was important, and it was so different because you look left, you look right, that person looks like you. They relate to you, and it was a level of comfortability in that everyone was relaxed, but everyone was filled with pride. It was like this sisterhood thing that was, it was taking place because it was a need for one. Dr. Glassman, of course, is a fellow SID. She is the only one speaking on the circuit to the degree that she is. I mean, she is a powerhouse, and she wanted to partner together and bring a phenomenal conference to Sistahs In Dentistry. I had always talked about having a conference, right? Of course, when I formed the organization, we're going to have conferences like all the other organizations have annual conferences. And so our first one was it was aboard Smile at Sea. And so we did that, we did a cruise, and it was about 40, 50 of us that got together. And so, but that one was a mix. It was us along with other people on the cruise. But this one was just us. And so it was amazing and phenomenal, and every word I can possibly throw it. It was just that, to have a conference for us and by us. I mean, like I said, Dr. Glassman comes with it. She's real, she's genuine, she's passionate. And so to pour into the women so that one, they can believe that they can go out and practice just as well as the person up the street. Like, that's one of the hindering things that Black women kind of encounter, is that they have these mental roadblocks. They don't believe that they can do it, or, oh, that costs a lot of money. Yeah, it costs a lot of money. Figure it out, take the loan out, invest in yourself, invest in your craft, so that one, you can progress in your profession. And so a lot of that is the mindset that Dr. Glassman addressed. Once you change that, it opens up so many doors. And so that was what's so powerful about that conference. No, it wasn't just Dr. Glassman talking. There were several other speakers that touched on so many things in terms of practice management, life coaching, I mean, what else was it? Billing and things of that nature. So collectively, it was the perfect, it was the perfect recipe for all that we needed to address what they needed and get back to their offices and, be fired up. So we're looking forward to the next one. So you'll be at the next one. Don't worry. COVID will be behind us. For sure. Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah, I know, because we haven't even mentioned on this live that, I mean, just to reiterate the statistic, the staggering statistic, that out of all dentists, 3.8% are Black. And so with that, the lack of representation, diversity, we don't see us in faculty. We don't see us in presenters at conferences. And we definitely don't see us in the practice as much as, for a child to look up to follow in their footsteps and be motivated and plant that seed early. So,
the thing is, we exist. That's the thing. We exist. And so many patients have come to my office like, oh my God, you're a Black doctor. They see my Facebook page or my ads running, and because of it, they come to the office and, they bring their kids just so their kids can see a Black doctor.
Right.
Which leads me to another thing. I mean, that's another reason why I started the Black-owned dental directory. Like, it's a directory it's a directory just to identify Black dental practices. Far too often, I was encountering people asking me, hey, where's the dentist in this area? Do you know a dentist here? And I'm like, no, let me ask my group. And I mean, not just my group members, but of course the males in the country and those who were not in the group. We needed to collectively have a directory so that our community can identify and find us. Far too often we are going to other practices, and it's not, I've always said, it's not that I'm against other folks, but it's nothing wrong with us supporting our own, and when Black Lives Matter happened and all this stuff was going on, there was this surge and need for us to identify and support Black-owned businesses. We need to learn to help and support each other. And that's kind of was the catalyst for me to start the director. I knew I needed to. And it was finally then that I decided, because, even, Instagram, I think I talked about this in my last interview. I talk about this all the time. It came out that, it was noticed that some people were less vocal when all of this stuff was happening. But these are the same people that target Blacks when it comes to coming into their practice. They do the dances, they do the TikTok, they do the hip hop songs, but when it came to speaking out against the injustices, they were mute, to the point where one of the Instagram people, he was addressed, and it wasn't until he was addressed by a whole bunch of people, because like you're awfully quiet on this. And then he gave like this blanketed show of support, which by this point is too late. And I'm like, that's the problem. They're okay taking our money, but they're not okay supporting our cause. So for me, I'm like, now it's important for me to create something so that, one, we can fill that void. Now they will know where Black dentists are, because we're just as qualified. That's the thing. We're just as qualified. They just don't know where we're at. So
that's, yeah. And it's so true. And I know, especially with me practicing in Tucson, there was very, very small African-American population here. And so I know when a Black child comes in and they see me, they're like, well, I know before we had to wear our surgical caps, they're like, oh, she has curls like me. And, you know, just the eyes light up, and it makes a difference. So if a parent is a family, and it doesn't even have to be a Black family, you know, that thing, to get past the bias that we're inferior. And sometimes that's just our own negative talk as well. I mean, of course, we know systemic racism is just invaded everywhere, and in dentistry as well.
Yeah.
So
even our own people,
well, I think that's
within our own community, they think we're inferior.
Yeah, and
I think
maybe
we're
some of the
cutting each other off.
roadblocks. Is there a delay? No, just maybe a roadblock for people opening up their practice, that whole imposter syndrome, because so often they've been told they're less than. So often, I mean, coming out of dental school, I know I was one of there was 4 Black students at UMKC in 2000. And here we are now in 2020.
How many?
You know, there's dental schools with just one, the only one, right? And just how isolating that must be. Because how was it for you in dental school? And what obstacles or anything did you have?
For me, in dental school, okay, so I went to University of Tennessee in Memphis. We had the highest minority enrollment next to the two HBCUs, being Meharry and Howard. That was primarily due to our Dean of Admissions, Dr. Wisdom Coleman, the Black man, went to Howard, he's Alpha. He would go on these college tours to other HBCUs to get Blacks into University of Tennessee. There was a minority scholarship. So this is how Dr. Lawton, of course, going and shadow him. That was his alma mater. He's like, you're going to my school. Don't worry. I'm going to talk to Coleman. We're going to get you this DAT. You're going to be good. And because of that scholarship, it attracted more Blacks to the school. So in my class, I think we had about 7 or so. You know, each class differed, but there was never more than 10, maybe 11 people in any class. Some classes had 3, some had 5. It wasn't that many Blacks in the class when you compared it to the overall, because it's 80 students total. So we all, of course, we're the minority, but I mean, that's to be expected. But it was challenging. I cannot imagine, you know, feeling how some of the students who find themselves being the only Black student in the school felt. Like, I mean, it's just like isolating. And that was another reason I wanted to start this organization and start talking and have these conversations with these dental schools. Like, listen, can we reserve a few spots and slots for minorities? Like, there needs to be, you know, some type of support. That person has to look and see somebody that looks like them so that he can get through that process, because it's not easy. We know that it's not easy. So that is part of my charge as well. We need to, you know, and yours as well. We need to increase the numbers of minorities in these dental schools. It doesn't make sense. They've done away with the minority scholarship with University of Tennessee since Dr. Coleman passed. You know, of course, they come with this reverse discrimination and all this stuff. So they've done away with it. However, you know, I've been in talks with people at the school more recently as last week. Was it this week? Earlier this week, with regards to helping to diversify the school and get more alumni to help get minorities back into the school. So it's a work in progress.
That's well, thanks. I mean, because it's incumbent on everyone. It's not just for the Black dentists to help get the Black students in the school. I think it's for the overall delivery of care to all patients, you know, that everyone should put this as a focus and a priority. And so I think, though, to get those scholarships, that's probably something we're going to have to do on our end. So I know you have the mentoring, the shadowing going on with SIS and ABWD. What else is in the works? I know you always have something. I mean, you got the
Oh,
your
so my
black
plate is so full.
yes.
Between running the practice, between ABWD, so of course, Sistahs In Dentistry has now evolved into the full-on organization, Association of Black Women Dentists, and so
Yeah,
we
and
are
it's
to
sorry, right, Dr. Sly, in case people want to know, is a membership organization. Like,
membership is starting in January. We about to we're gonna have dues and all of that stuff in place starting January 21. So all that stuff is being implemented. We meet monthly to kind of put things in place. So I'm just waiting for 2021, and we'll kick that off. And so let's see what else. So between the mentorship program that's still growing, we have, like I said, the directory that's growing. I just partnered with a company so that we can start offering dental assisting schools within our own practices, because one, we need to have our hand on these kids, because everyone does not want to go to college, and we see that everyone doesn't. I mean, some people just don't make it through college, and they come out in all of this debt. Some people just want to do other things. There are alternatives. And so with regards to the dental assisting programs, I want to be able to have my hands on those programs and help those students come out prepared and educated, because a lot of the programs out here now, they're not teaching. They're taking their money, but they're coming out, and we find ourselves having to teach them on the job, and it's not helping them. It's not serving them any good to pay the institutions that they're paying and come out and not know anything and can't get a job. So we just partnered with Sistahs In Dentistry with a company, MCP, to help grow dental assistant programs from within our own practices. So stay tuned for that information. It'll be coming out.
Yeah.
Somebody had a question. Just a couple questions. My brother says hi. Hi, big brother. Somebody said, what do you think we need to do to encourage African American adults to consistently go to dentists? Whew. You want to take that one?
Yeah. Well, I think what definitely would help if we started early. I think those habits are built when you're a child, and that's when as a pediatric dentist, I have that conversation all the time. They're just baby teeth, but then when it gets to pain, then they don't build the habits and take care of themselves that they grew up with as an adult. For African American adults to consistently go to the dentist is find a dentist that you get a recommendation, a referral, and find someone you trust and someone who will talk to you and not talk down to you. And
and what's important too, though, is that people have to understand that dentistry is a branch of medicine, and so we're doctors, and there's so many things that start with bacteria that's in the mouth, and the minute we're able to educate adults, even kids, about these bacteria and that can cause heart disease, diabetes, all these different ailments, it's important that adults know these things. And then knowing this will encourage them more to go to dentists and kind of have things checked out. With showing love and kissing, you're spreading bacteria and germs that can, be harmful. So educating patients is very, very key. So I hope that our African American adults are open to listening and learning, and then taking things more serious, because it all starts with the mouth. It is the portal, it is the gateway to the body, and from there, all types of things can happen. So that's how I would encourage adults to consistently go to the dentist.
No, that's great. We got to spread that message. Great question. Well, I know we're coming up on our time. You do so much. I just like to share, when I'm trying to build this community to help professionals to kind of design their lives so they can make a difference in the world. But when you are balancing private practice and 3 organizations and a dental assisting program and raising scholarship and raising money, how do you keep yourself present? What do you do? One, to stay productive and focused and present. Do you have a favorite act? Do you meditate, yoga? What's your secret? We all want to know.
I don't have a secret. Everyone asks me the same question. How are you doing all of this? I just don't know. I don't know, actually. I just do. I work out when I feel like it. I mean, I try to keep myself distracted with, working out. But I don't like the sore part. Like, I'm sore right now. So I can't say that working out is my favorite thing to do. I relax. I find time for myself. I like to sit on the couch and chill and watch TV. I'll binge watch and, catch up on Netflix. I Netflix and chill as often as I can, when I can. And I mean, that's about it. I find time to talk on the phone with my family. That is my escape from all of the craziness in my world. Like I talk to either my sister, my brother, or my mom, or all of them every day. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I
my
think you're like,
that's yeah.
so important. Well, they
Yeah.
keep, they lift us up and keep us grounded. So important.
Yeah, and
Well,
keep me going.
what you're doing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what you're doing is so important. I'm just so grateful and blessed to know you, and I know you've touched the lives of thousands of 2.8, well, no, 2,800 so far in our
Yeah,
group.
and counting.
And counting. Yes, 2,800. So I just know you are leaving a legacy as you're building it, and you're making quite an impact in the world, and keep doing what you're doing. And we thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for being a part of what will someday be my legacy when I leave here. So I appreciate you.
For sure. For sure. And so everyone can follow you on
Oh,
your social
oh
media
gosh.
pages.
Just like I
Where
have
can they
several
find you?
businesses, I have several pages.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
And then
my
I'll put them all on the description
Oh, yeah,
later
that'll
too.
help because I have, Sistahs In Dentistry. This is where I'm broadcasting from now. This is where we talk all things dentistry. I have the Association of Black Women Dentists. That's just that's our fun, like strictly business stuff. Actually, no, not too much fun. And then there's the Black Owned Dental Practices page where you can kind of identify. Well, it'll direct you to the directory, the website, where you can find the Black dentist. And then what else is it? Oh, Dr. Sly to Fly. That's my personal. So if you have any questions, the best way to reach me would be on my personal page, as Sistahs In Dentistry is ran by my social media team, as well as the Association of Black Women Dentists, and soon, and also the Black Dental Directory. So
Oh, girl, I'm
if you
tired.
need to ask me anything, yes, catch me on Dr. Sly to Fly, and I will do my best to answer whatever questions you have.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you. And guys, please do check all those platforms out. And I invite you to visit my website at drleilahishaw.com for you sign up for a newsletter. And I'm going to just start sharing some success tips for aspiring professionals and those who want to make a difference in the world through nonprofits or social enterprises. So thank you,
And I'm so
everyone.
proud
Thank
of
you, Dr.
you.
Sly.
Yes, I'm so proud of you for
Thank you
your
so much.
diversity in
Thank you for
dentistry
your support.
nonprofit. Of course.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a good
Thank you.
night, everyone.
I love you.
Bye.
Okay. Smile always. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.